Welcome to all the Sagittarius rising signs of the zodiac to your June 2025 astrology video. I'm Cosmic Girl, trust you're doing well, and thank you for being here. So we're talking astrology in this video and what it all means for your Sagittarius rising sign. Before we get into it, let's quickly talk about your chart ruler Jupiter. So Jupiter is your avatar in this incarnation, and Jupiter's winding up its transit in Gemini, your natal 7th house. And so that's going to be a big change for you this month because Jupiter's leaving Gemini, your natal 7th house, and ingressing into Cancer, your 8th house. And that's going to be a big shift, and I'll talk about what that means for your rising sign when we get to the 9th of June, when this transit of Jupiter ends in Gemini and begins in Cancer in this video. So your focus, if you will, if you're a Sagittarius rising sign, is putting the finishing touches on relationships in your life and interactions with other people where you can feel settled. You know who's who in a zoo. You know what your part is in a relationship. You know what the other person's part in a relationship is. Things are becoming a little bit more in a stage of resolution. That bodes well for any people that you proactively knock shoulders with. It's like, yeah, you've got to lay in the land. You know what you're doing, they know what they're doing. So that's wrapping up quite quickly in the month of June, because it'll be the 9th of June that your chart rule then shifts. So keep that in your back pocket. It's not that you're not interested in all the other great planetary transits and lunations. It's just that if your chart ruler is Jupiter and that's your focus, winding things up in the 7th house of other people in relationships in Gemini, and then you're quickly shifting gears, and it's going to be a very optimistic transit for you. So lucky Sagittarius rising signs. Okay, now let's get into the astrology. On the 6th of June, Venus ingresses into Taurus, your 6th house, until July 4. You benefit from services. Your work environment improves. Your health can exponentially improve as well with Venus in Taurus in your 6th house. It's a quick transit from the 6th to July 4th, so just under 4 weeks. You've got Venus really assisting you, if you will, with harmony and balance with things that you do on the day-to-day. Think of your daily routines. You've got to feed the cat, you've got to go to work, you've got to connect with services, you've got to hang with your co-workers. Venus here doing very well in Taurus just bodes well for things that you have to do on a daily, just become easier to deal with. So we'll take that when we've got to chop wood, carry water. When Venus ingresses into Taurus on the 6th of June to July 4, transiting in your 6th house. On the 8th of June, Mercury conjuncts your chart ruler Jupiter, and then after Mercury does conjunct your chart ruler Jupiter, he ingresses into Cancer. Mercury moves into your natal 8th house until the 26th of June. So it's a really quick transit for Mercury. So astrologically, how I see this day playing out for you is you're getting some intel. You're having a big conversation on the 8th of June. And then after that conversation is all said and done, then it's going to carry on until the 26th of June. So why I say that is because Mercury gives you some important information or correspondence, food for thought on the 8th of June. But then when Mercury ingresses into Cancer into your natal 8th house till the 26th of June, that conversation, that thought or correspondence is still playing out. And that could be influenced by shared resources. The topics of death or inheritance still continues on. So the 8th of June is going to be a day of significance when it comes to correspondence or a conversation. And it's going to keep playing out for a little while, at least until the 26th of June. So keep your eyes and your ears peeled for important information because it's going to have a knock-on effect, because then Mercury is going to go into Cancer, that house of shared resources, death, and inheritance. It's a continuation story for you, and it begins on the 8th of June. So, eyes and ears peeled, Sagittarius rising signs. On the 9th of June, if you don't drink green tea or practice breathing techniques, you might want to start on this day, because astrologically, with the planets in alignment and the transits, it's a lot on the 9th of June. So heads up, deep breaths. Everyone's going through it, not only you, Sagittarius rising sign. This is just the day where you can just be like, oh, this is one of the challenging days of the month astrologically. We've got Jupiter ingressing into Cancer. We have retrograde Pluto squaring Venus, and we have Mercury squaring Saturn and Neptune. So that's a lot in one day. So we're going to talk about these aspects separately. So the first thing, the big standout transit of the month, on the 9th of June, is when your chart ruler Jupiter now shifts into your natal 8th house of Cancer, where it's exalted until the 30th of June 2026. So a really long transit. When your chart ruler's in the dignity being exalted, it bodes really well for the 8th house topics to flourish. So let's talk about this, because this is going to be really important for you as a Sagittarius rising, this part of the video, in understanding your chart ruler being exalted in your natal 8th house of Cancer. Okay. How I see this playing out for you is sort of like a big exfoliation shower or spa treatment, where you go in and you've got all this dead skin and dead weight on you. And then you go into a spa and you haven't been for a year. You've neglected your body. Jupiter, your chart ruler, has been in Gemini in your natal 7th house of other people and your relationships. And you've just been so busy in propping everyone else up and trying to get everything just right there, that you neglect your body. And then you go, that's it. I've got to go to a spa. I've got to really love on myself. And I benefit by filling my own cup up. I really benefit by taking care of my needs and being okay with that, and not beating myself up for loving on myself. So you go into a day spa and you have this fantastic exfoliation experience, and you get all oiled up and moisturized, and you've got beautiful music, and got beautiful incense swirling around you, and you're just in a bubble bliss, bliss bubbles, excuse me. And then all that skin and dead weight is just removed from your experience and your reality. And then you put your clothes back on, and the clothes slide on easy. There's no dead skin where it's rough and rubbing against your skin, and you feel relaxed, and you almost feel numb and giddy with just being so chill. And then you leave the day spa and you walk out and you get back into your life, and it's back to brass tacks. You've had your moment in the day spa, but then you have to go back to reality. You have to get back into life. But boy, oh boy, was that fun. So that's what this transit's like for you, from the 9th of June to the 30th of June 2026. And it plays out over such a long time, where you're going into exfoliation mode, excavation mode, stripping things away from you mode. And it becomes quite sophisticated when we talk about Jupiter exalted in Cancer in your natal 8th house of death, inheritance, and other people's resources. And Jupiter's your guy in this incarnation, and You're a Sagittarius rising, so this is about your first house of your body, your identity, your health, new beginnings, who you are, your sense of self. And you're going through an exfoliation process that lightens your load when you can physically and emotionally put things to death. And you can benefit from inheriting tangible resources from other people. The topic of inheritance emotionally has you all up in it. Other people's resources benefit you in the exfoliation process of putting things to death and stepping into new shoes, where you can end things that you've begun. Death, the first house of beginnings. There's nothing better than graduating. There's nothing better than improving something physically in your body and you end it. And this transit is this big exfoliation of your life that emotionally serves you well. Now, death is something Westerners really do struggle with. We do everything in our power to avoid it. We take our vitamins, we drink water, we go to the gym, we eat the good food because we want to live. But when your chart ruler is exalted in Cancer in the house of death, in your natal eighth house, then there's something emotionally fulfilling about letting go of things that naturally have to fall away for you. And then we think of the first house of your identity. Well, something that you identify really personally to. It's coming to a natural death. And that could be a plethora of things for you as a Sagittarius rising. When you think about your identity, and you could be going through menopause. You could become a mother with this transit. A child could be moving out of the home. It changes your identity. But it's a beneficial transit because your chart ruler Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, where there's like an emotional exchange and payoff that makes you feel very embodied and quite fulfilled. So all in all, the transit is quite auspicious. But when you're going through it, that exfoliation stage in the day spa for a year and change, it's slow going where you may not immediately see results of how other people's resources, death and inheritance is actually benefiting you or playing out. But it is. And it's going to be an almost every 12-year experience where you level up and you let things go. And that's called life. And with life, we have growth. And with death, we have potential for new life and growth. And you can start new things for yourself. You can reboot the body, reboot the health with this transit. It's a beautiful transit. Enjoy it. From the 9th of June to June 30, 2026, you're in a very, very long session in a day spa that's going to make you feel absolutely amazing. I'd love to hear some comments in the comments section below. But in short, you benefit from death, inheritance, and other people's resources. Okay, moving on now to the other planetary alignments. On the 9th, we've got retrograde Pluto square Venus. Um, yeah, okay, so this could be like a moving of the goalposts, something in your workplace or with a service that you are engaged with. Is having a bit of a change up, and that could affect well laid plans on the 9th of June. You have to plan the date for the appointment, and here's the day the appointment happens, but then you get a phone call or there's a shake up or disruption in your environment that makes it hard for you to access that appointment or that commitment. So just expect it to be, you thought you were doing this on the 9th, but then something changes and you're just like, oh, okay, nothing I can do about it. That's the annoyance of the day. Make sure you drink green tea. Deep breaths. So watch out for changes of plans on the 9th, to do within your workplace or with a service. Mercury squaring off with Saturn and Neptune. Okay. Yeah, Mercury conjunct your chart ruler Jupiter on the 8th, only the day before the 9th. And this is where I think that conversational communication that was something that you were potentially engaged with on the 8th, on the 9th, this is like a knock on effect to that conversation. And what I think is happening here is a difference of opinion, financially, or about an inheritance or the subject of death. Could be quite crunchy though, because Mercury square Saturn and Neptune is, Saturn likes discipline and structure. Neptune likes to dream about it. It's not really good at following through on it. And Saturn and Neptune are traveling quite close together in your fifth house. So this could be a difficult conversation with a romantic partner or a child on this day. If you have children, if that's applicable to you as a Sagittarius rising sign, or if you have an intimate relationship, this could be a difficult conversation about finances, death, or inheritance on the 9th of June. So, again, deep breaths. On the 11th of June, we have our first lunation of the month, and it's a full moon in Sagittarius in your first house, Sagittarius rising sign. This full moon you get once a year. So enjoy the 11th of June. So what's going to be playing out here for you? Well, full moons are, it's like the maturation point. It's where the moon is at its most ripe, if you will, for the taking, but it's an emotional grab, if you will. Moon feelings, emotions. We don't really express them to the world, but they're there. You're human. Welcome to planet Earth. So when you've got this full moon, like really heightening your emotions, and you're swimming in all these thoughts and the feelings on the 11th of June, something very personal is going through a process for you, and your chart ruler Jupiter is exalted in Cancer of other people's resources, death, and inheritance. So I wonder for you on the 11th of June if you're coming to some sort of emotional peace or resolution regarding an emotional attachment with finances, death, and inheritance. It could be a big day. But what I do like, because that full moon is in the maturation stage, so you could be letting go of a debt, you could be benefiting from a financial transaction on this day. You could be also wrapping up or finalizing an inheritance or an aspect of death in any way, shape, or form. Death of an injury, death of your identity, but something emotionally is wrapping up and coming to some sort of peaceful resolution on the 11th of June. It's a beautiful full moon. You get it once a year. Self indulgence. Remember that day spa, Sagittarius rising. Okay, moving on to the 13th and the 16th of June. 3 days, we've got Uranus squaring Mars. This is something we can do without a Mars square Uranus. Squares are difficult. Yeah, there could be just like another change of the guard here. Someone moving the goalposts on you. That could be quite frustrating. Well laid plans with work or a service. All of a sudden, you're not too sure if you're in or you're out. Is it worth the travel, distraction, or irritation? Is it worth the money? Do I really believe in it? It's those sort of 3 days where you're umming and ahhing about the validity of something you believe in regarding well laid plans that could be connected to work or services. On the 17th, Mars ingresses into Virgo in 10th house right at the top of your natal chart. So that natal 10th house, you've got Mars here from the 17th of June to the 6th of August. Really interesting transit because Mars wants to cut things away and eliminate obstacles. And when it's in your 10th house of career, officialdom, superiors, authorities, your professional arena, you're all business with this transit from the 17th of June to the 6th of August. You might also have potentially a quite a rambunctious authority figure or a boss walk into your doors at work with this transit. And you could also have a lot of conflict and differences of opinions with people in the public. Um, and there's nothing wrong with that, but how you deliver your point of view or what you would like to achieve when you're talking about things of an official nature with authority figures, superiors, your career house, there's a finesse that you can adopt when you're delivering a message. So easy does it with Mars in your natal 10th house from the 17th of June to the 6th of August. You might be extremely competitive, or an opponent can be really pushing your buttons. So deep breaths. On the 21st, the Sun ingresses into Cancer, joining your chart ruler Jupiter and Mercury in your natal 8th house. So the Sun will be here for 4 weeks, from the 21st of June to the 22nd of July. Yeah, the sun's, think of the sun. It lights things up. It's optimistic. It's like, oh, wow, this is where there's lots of life. And in the 8th house of death, inheritance, and shared resources, you benefit emotionally, if you will, from dealing with those denser things in life and cutting to the chase, having those deep and meaningfuls, having those conversations, looking at the paperwork of a financial nature, dealing with death and inheritance and going, okay, this is just my time of the year where I have to get down to brass tacks. So it's a transit where you can, at the very least, be a little bit more optimistic about what you want to put to death, what do you want to put to rest regarding financial entanglements with this transit. So quite positive all in all when the sun is in Cancer in your natal 8th house on the 21st of June to the 22nd of July. Moving on to the 24th, the sun conjuncts your chart ruler Jupiter. Wonderful. This could be a financial opportunity that comes across your table, or you finally get to end a dispute or come to a resolution regarding death, inheritance, or a financial bind. Really positive day on the 24th of June. The 25th, there's a new moon in Cancer, party going on in your natal 8th house this month. This new moon's happening at 4 degrees in your 8th house. So on the 11th of June, was a big emotional graduation point release. It's like, yes, this is happening. It benefited you in some way, shape, or form for taking a deep breath and coming to peace with something emotionally that serves you well. And then on the 25th, you have a new beginning in that 8th house where your chart ruler is Jupiter in Cancer. And the new moon at 4 degrees. So the moon's in the brand new stage, not in the full moon stage, it's in the new stage. So when it's in the new stage of shared resources, inheritance, and death, then there's an emotional beginning. So this can be anything from restructuring an inheritance plan, restructuring the body that benefits you, going into a new environment that benefits you emotionally. It is Cancer. Other people's resources, they could be building into a new path themselves. So if you have a financial entanglement, like a partner, they could be going into a new job or a new financial contract that's quite beneficial. Beautiful new moon on the 25th of June. Enjoy it. On the 26th, Mercury leaves Cancer, your natal 8th house. So it's just the Sun and Jupiter now there. And Mercury from the 26th to the 2nd of September is going into Leo, into your 9th house. So just quickly recapping what the 9th house is. The 9th house is travel, foreigners and foreign places, higher education, spiritual practices and religion. So that 9th house is where we grow physically, spiritually, mentally. That ninth house is where we step out into the world. And then you've got Mercury here. So Mercury is the planet of thought, commerce, communication, and travel. And it's going into the thought and travel house. So from the 26th of June to the 2nd of September, there could be some excitement here where you're ready to engage and step out of your front door and into the world at large, putting plans into action, a lot more movement, lots more communication with different people, places, and faces. Really, really uplifting, positive transit. The ninth house of Leo trines your first house of Sagittarius, helping you exponentially with knocking shoulders with people that aren't your usual, and you learn and benefit from them. So, really nice transit with Mercury in your ninth house of Leo from the 26th of June to the 2nd of September. The last 2 days of the month, the 29th to the 30th, Mercury is opposing retrograde Pluto. Okay, so I think these 2 days of the month, you're asked to step up to the plate, not be so concerned about the education level you have, the fact that you can't travel. I've got commitments in my local environment. If someone's giving you an opportunity to grow and expand through travel, education, a spiritual path, or a foreigner or a foreign place, sort of gives you the lay of the land and goes, hey, there's potential for you. I wouldn't be too concerned about dropping a commitment. This sort of feels like the last 2 days of the month is Carpe Diem, seize the day. And the only problem with that is that this commitment or something that's quite anchoring, that's habitual to you, be it through siblings, travel, or education, could be weighing on you. So, yeah, you might be a bit torn on the 29th and 30th when there's something beaming at you with an opportunity to grow and expand and extend your reach and learn something. But something closer to home might be grating on you. Yeah, it's just a couple of days. You'll get over it. You'll be okay. That's your astrology for the month of June. I hope you have a good one. If you have any questions, contact me at cosmicgirl101 at protonmail.com. I'd love to work with you. Standouts. Jupiter is going into its zodiac sign of exaltation. You're going to love this long exfoliation, this long scuff of an identity and a physical process that's going to be all said and done. You're going to come out of this transit feeling a lot more lighter, optimistic, settled, emotionally aware of how other people's resources, death and inheritance, it's just part of life. But in some way, shape, or form, you come to a peaceful acknowledgement of the mortality and the more denser things in life. And you just keep whistling while you work and just keep on keeping on. Beautiful transit with your chart ruler exalted in Cancer in your natal 8th house. Enjoy it. Until next time, Sagittarius risings, stay cosmic.